Hey guys, Cat Demon here. Today for the video, we're going to be talking about Mr. Salty, the animatronic from Spirit Halloween. Mr. Salty goes for $350 from Spirit Halloween, which is a pretty hefty price. I can't believe that something... I think this is the very first thing that they've come out with this year that's that expensive, except for the Wailing Ghoul or whatever. Basically, what Mr. Salty is this really tall clown animatronic that has his cloak closed on him, and then he says a phrase and then opens it up to reveal another miniature clown that was hiding under his cloak that looks like it jumps at you a little bit. Basically, it's a clown within a clown. So now that you understand more of what I'm talking about, here is his official video on Spirit Halloween's website.
I'll bet you my clown knows that you've never seen this before!
Hey! Ah!
Good one, Willie! You even surprised me that time! Hey, have you seen my little pal? He was around here somewhere. Boogie Boogie!
I gotcha!
Ah, you almost got him that time, Willie!
So basically, as you could see in the video, he has a decent range of motion. So he moves his big jaw. He does have a really big mouth, and it seems to move pretty well as he says a phrase. And then he reveals with both arms. He opens up two flaps of his cloak, and then the clown thing, little clown guy Willie, jumps out at you a little bit, I think. Not a lot, but a little bit, which is kind of nice to have, I guess. But it would have been cooler if he jumped out more, which then maybe it would have been worth the price, because it's like you see this big guy, and then there's a jump scare like inside of him. So you have no idea, you wouldn't suspect that at all. So I do really like the range of motion. Once again, as I always say, Spirit Halloween's getting really unique with this. And I think, I don't know if he's in stores, but maybe he will sell pretty well if you can see it in stores. That would be pretty cool. And like I said, if his clown guy jumped out more, I think it would definitely be worth it. Alright, so looking closer at Mr. Salty, he has another very detailed face. I think it's another Seasonal Visions, possibly. He seems to have that kind of detail of face. I do love the blue around his eyes. I think he's got a very big and creepy smile, which I think is definitely cool. And then he has a very detailed jacket, which is just like a plaid orange kind of jacket. And he's also very tall. And then obviously the clown inside him, Willie, also is actually pretty detailed. He's got little hair. And he's got, pretty basic face paint, but I think it's really cool. I also like that he is wearing, I think he's also wearing a, no, he's not wearing anything. But they both have like red and blue hair. I love the different contrast. And also inside the jacket, he has like a, green almost, which there is a lot of colors going on, but I don't think it looks that bad in my opinion. Alright, next let's talk about the big deal about this guy, which is definitely his price. Now, this is definitely a very expensive spirit prop for this year. One of the top ones that they've released this year, I think, other than the ghoul one with the moving eyes. Now, I do not think that they have priced it well this year. I think because they think that he's so big and he has lots of detail, his motion just isn't enough, honestly. He does have a wide range of motion. Maybe he's that much because they think they're like putting two animatronics together. I'm not exactly sure, but I definitely think he's pretty expensive. Maybe I think he should have been the same price as the Harvester of Souls. That probably would have been a smarter idea, because I just think that he's not worth that much. I don't think he's that maybe they think he's going to sell well. I don't think he will. because of the price. Maybe if he was cheaper, I think a lot of people would probably get him because he does, in fact, do a lot. Just not enough for me for $3.50. And I don't think that I like his lines, I guess, but I think he actually just has too much going on, which I don't like. And I think they were trying way too hard with this animatronic, and that's why they're trying to set the price too high. Alright, so let's talk more about his clothing now that I'm mentioning it. His clothing has a lot of detail on it, which I also thought was a little crazy because there's so much. He has this big orange overcoat with like patches in it, and then he's got like a white collar with some cool hands, and then when he opens it up, he reveals a green and white striped jacket with black buttons on it. He also has red, almost looks like red velveting on the inside of the jacket, which I thought was kind of odd because they're just mashing all these colors together. And then he also has his clown buddy, who is wearing black and purple stripes on his vest thing, and then also has a green collar and a green button with looks like green little rings around his shoes, and then obviously he has red plastic shoes. Now I don't know where his other sets of legs are because it looks like the legs are attached to the little guy, so I'm not exactly sure where his legs are. I'm not sure if he has any. But there is definitely a lot of clothing on him, especially on the inside more. So there is a lot there. I hope that the fabric is not cheap and doesn't rip apart at all. It looks like it's got to be at least a decent material, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to rip it open so easily. Otherwise, it would fall apart. But I think the inside of him, his little jacket on the inside is kind of weird, and it doesn't really match it. Maybe if it was another color of orange, or maybe a continuation of the red, but it kind of doesn't. I guess they're trying to match the little guy, I guess. I mean, it matches him, but it doesn't match the outside of him at all. I don't know, but they're all right. All right, so now let's talk about his voice and also the sounds that he makes. So Mr. Salty is definitely a more creepier sounding guy. He's got this really deep and cutthroat voice, like he's been smoking or something. He's just really it sounds like his throat it's just really bad. But anyway, it's really deep, and he says really creepy lines. Also, the little Willy guy has a much higher voice, and it's also pretty creepy. I'm not gonna lie, I like the way these guys sound, and I think he's definitely got some cool lines that are kind of funny to me. And yeah, that's what I think about his voice. Okay, so basically, more about in the actual video itself. In his background, it's just like a creepy looking porch almost, and it's nothing special. I think they've just used it in a couple of their videos before with some other animatronics. They could have used a clown theme. I noticed that's what they did with their Jack-in-the-Box guy, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing too special. They do have creepy carnival music playing, which is probably what the guy has in his background on his voice box. So now talking about how it compares to other animatronics, because they have been releasing a lot of clown animatronics this year. I definitely think it is actually pretty good. So especially it's definitely a step up from Johnny Punk, which I will be talking about in a later video. And I definitely think that it is, I like it better than the clown with the two girls. I forget what his name is. It'll probably appear right above me for some reason. But I definitely think it's probably maybe in the mid-tier area. But once again, that price is just a little too much for me. But I'm not saying it's a bad animatronic, it's just overpriced. But out of the clown ones, I definitely think it is better, because I just think I like the animation I don't know. They've had like a chest ripping open one, but never like with an animatronic inside it. I think that's definitely really cool and unique, and I think it's really good. Now, I definitely think that the way that the other clowns, because there was a clown trio, and then they released like Uncle Charlie. But I think he's definitely probably in the top 3 clowns in my opinion this year. I think first you have the Fright in the Box at the top, then maybe Uncle Charlie, and then I think him at number 3. I don't think I'll be picking him up, but if he is in stores, I'll be really looking forward to see that, because I'm sure that'll be really, really cool. And maybe if he is in stores, some people might actually buy him, because that's how you get people. Like, I feel like if you don't, like, see an animatronic in stores, you won't know if it's good. It's like taking a risk, you know, especially with an animatronic this expensive. Alright, so now with the general likes and dislikes. Obviously, my likes are, I think he's got cool lines, I love the unique animation, and I think that it's just a really cool looking animatronic in general. I think it's definitely odd what they chose to use him as. I feel like it's kind of weird with some of his lines, and then his actual animation. It's kind of coincidental, if you know what I'm talking about, if you know what I mean. But the only dislike, I think, is just his price. Maybe if the Harvester of Souls hadn't come out, I might actually had gotten him. But the Harvester of Souls is definitely the one I'm going to be saving up for this year. So maybe next year I'll pick him up. He is definitely a really cool one. And I think that hopefully he's around for next year, as long as he sells. That's usually when they keep him around for. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below what you thought of the video.